Hey everyone, Avatar Guy here. After watching the Avatar 2 trailer on repeat non-stop for the past 2 days, I found a load of interesting things that I'm sure you also caught, but also maybe a few things you didn't. So let's dive in. First off, we see 2 new characters. Soraya and her friend Roto dive into the beautiful blue ocean of Pandora. These are both members of the new tribe of Na'vi being introduced in The Way of Water, the Metkayina. You can also see how different they are straight away, as in the very next shot we see the Sully children, as well as some of the amazing sea life. We also get to hear the start of some more of Simon Franglen's beautiful score, with a refrain that sounds like a slowed down version of I See You, the song from the original movie. We're then shown a familiar shot, one we've already seen in the teaser, except this time it's longer. It's Neytiri in the forest of Pandora, and she's drawing her bow, in a shot very similar to how she did in the first movie when she's about to kill Jake. Except this time, her drawing her bow is blocked by her pregnant belly, so she readjusts. I think we can assume that this is a flashback early on in the movie, as Neytiri has obviously had her children sometime later and she's pregnant here. We then see from director James Cameron. You know, that guy that made Aliens, Terminator, Titanic and Avatar? Yeah, that guy. If you're also a fan of James Cameron and his movies, then why not subscribe? Next, one of the most interesting parts of the entire trailer. Kiri, played by Sigourney Weaver, calling Jake Sully Dad.
Dad, I know you think I'm crazy.
And telling him how she can hear her. Which, her may be Eywa, the planet-wide goddess, or maybe Grace. We don't quite know yet. What we do know is that the heartbeat sounds mighty. This scene is intercut with a few other shots. Again, what looks to be another flashback of Jake and his eldest son Neteyam, practicing bow fishing. Then a shot again very similar to the original movie, but actually not the same scene, because this time the Omaticaya tribe are all standing. I think this is a ceremony of the tribe when they're being led by Jake and Neytiri, but you can't tell. It then cuts to Took, the Sully's youngest daughter, playing with this kind of scary or weird looking Pandoran flower. And then we jump to Kiri laying down and the grass pulsating around her. We then get this shot of Jake and Neytiri flying on their Ikran, among the floating mountains at night. It's nice to see this as a direct throwback to the original movie, and the Banshee flying out during twilight really highlighted the bioluminescence of the Na'vi themselves and the Banshee. We then get another shot from the teaser again, the middle Sully child Loak touching hands with his new whale friend Peokan, a giant tulkun or Pandoran whale. We then finish the scene between Kiri and Jake. We're also shown Kiri connecting to some kind of tree, and it doing the same kind of effect we saw in the original when someone's transferring their consciousness into an avatar, as in the very next shot when the trailer really kicks into a higher gear. We see members of the Metkayina tribe flying on the new animal, the Skimwing, and again some giant whales travelling with them. Then some new animals, the Elu, being ridden by what looks like the younger members of the tribe, and they're doing all these cool tricks. It then again moves into, I think, an even higher gear, and we start to see some really strong warlike imagery. A human and our first glimpse of a recom soldier, and for those of you who don't know what a recom is, it's short for recombinant. That's a Na'vi-grown soldier inserted with the memories of a soldier that has died on Pandora, and they are also new to the sequel. Again, even more warlike imagery of Jake emerging from some water, and then Jake and Neytiri looking out across a burning environment, possibly even the ruins of their old home, and maybe the reason why they had to flee and seek help from the Metkayina tribe. This is a huge standout for me, since the humans of the RDA in the first movie would not have had anywhere near this level of destructive power in the original. The stakes are even higher now, and this is clearly shown in the trailer. And then we get maybe one of the shortest, but actually most impactful scenes in the entire trailer, the recom of Quaritch, the main villain in the original, crushing a skull. One I think we can assume is his own, because if you look very closely, from behind, you can see an indentation in the skull where his scars would have been. We then see even more recoms being lifted up into a vehicle. If you pause, you'll notice that we also see our first sneak peek of Spider, the human adopted son of the Sullys being lifted away by one of the Recoms. Again, this particular Recom looks like it's Quaritch. We then head back to the Metkayina tribe and things happen quickly here. We see the leader of the tribe, Tonowari, and his wife, Ronal, the female leader of the tribe. He tells Jake that he and his family don't want them to bring his war to them.
We cannot let you bring your war here.
We then see Loak seemingly getting in a confrontation with a member of the Metkayina tribe, and if you look in the background it seems like Jake and Neytiri are watching. It then shows Loak and Soraya, and that we get this possible romance hint between them. In the IMAX trailer, you can clearly see that she is holding his hand when she says, "I see you." I probably should also mention that this kind of romance is also alluded to in the new poster. We then get quite a few really quick shots, as one of the characters says that the Way of Water connects all things, before your birth and after your death. There's a nice little visual cue here too, as when it says birth, we see the image of the baby next to the Tulkun, seemingly just being born, and when it says death, we see this shot of the fire and this dead Elu in the foreground. Notice that this looks to be a Metkayina village on fire, and that if you look really far in the back, Spider is with the Recoms. If you slow it right down and look, it seems like Spider shrugs Quaritch off as he's trying to move him forward. Jumping back slightly, we also see Jake and Tonowari shaking hands. Jake seems to have suffered some kind of damage. Perhaps he's just had to bond with a Skimwing. Next, we see Ronal on top of a Skimwing as she approaches the camera, and if you look closely behind her, you can see Neytiri flying her Banshee in the background. We then get another really cool shot of some new human technology, this huge new vehicle, which I think is some kind of hovercraft, and you can see it as a faint SD1 on the top right hand area, which might stand for Sea Dragon 01. A vehicle we've seen before in background scenes, this huge boat that has been likened to Papa Dragon from the original Avatar. We then see Took being pursued by these crab suit mechs, one chasing them from behind as Took falls away, and another peering in front as it jumps towards Loak. We then see a scene that looks like it takes place before the scene we see in the teaser, the one where Jake says this family is our fortress, which quickly then cuts to Neytiri and Took inside some kind of human structure. If you turn your head, you can see that it is definitely some kind of ship on its side, and it's clearly sinking. The music then swells, and we see Jake telling Neytiri that he needs her, and we get another callback to the original movie. And then one of the funniest moments for me in the trailer, Kiri doing what looks like a kind of Kamehameha in front of this huge amoeba-like structure, which, if you look closely, she is bonded to. And over her shoulder, we see Roto again, and this time Soraya's brother Anong in the middle. We then see this shot of a Tulkun breaching out of the water and onto what looks like some kind of boat. And again, if you look very carefully, you can see what looks like Loak and Took, and maybe even Soraya, have been captured. In fact, maybe this scene takes place after the crab suit chase, in which case they've been captured by the RDA. Again, another shot with RDA vehicles as Jake mounts his Skimwing, holds a weapon, and seems to be going out to battle, before we see the final two shots of the trailer. This one of Neytiri flying in and landing on a boat in darkness before firing her bow, and finally the ultimate callback to the first movie, Jake telling Neytiri, "strong heart," just as she once said to him when she first met him in the original Avatar.
You have a strong heart.
The music then finally rises again, and we get the title screen and some credits. I personally thought this was a really beautiful trailer. It doesn't give too much away, and is visually beautiful, and has got me really excited for what we're going to see in Avatar: The Way of Water. Was there anything that I missed that you saw? If so, please leave a comment. As always, I want to thank the Based in Robust Network, and thank you for watching.